All right, let's get to another breakdown. Let's get to another breakdown. So I'm gonna start utilizing my PC more. All right, so we're going to start NASDAQ on the daily time frame. Matter of fact, let's zoom out to the weekly time frame. So I came up with something. Well, I didn't come up with something, but I started seeing that I was reading the markets wrong. So that's the beauty of trading, where you can see, well, you catch your wrongdoings and then you fix it, right? So you see market is trending here. Uh, higher high, higher swing low, higher swing high, higher swing low. And now we're pushing towards a higher swing high, right? So in the market, we should be put most likely looking for buys. Everything should be looking for buys, being that we're pushing up to create a higher high. Um, Now we want to zoom in some more and start to identify certain things, right? Where the market should be pushing or be slowing down. But you don't want to anticipate, you don't want to think or put that in your brain that the market is slowing down if it's not slowing down. So the previous week we did have a doji, right? So we did have a doji right here. I'm going to highlight this, right? So this was a doji um last week. So, well, 2 weeks ago. Last week was a solid bullish candle. So we're basically seeing that we want to continue to buy, right? So we're gonna go to the H4 time frame and start to see the trend, right? So everybody know, well, we all should know, in the market, when a bullish market is higher highs and higher lows, right? This is the same high and this is the same low. It's equal consolidation, right? Until price broke out of that consolidation and made a higher high, made a higher low, and now we're at a higher high, right? So being that we had two bearish candles, um, we can anticipate that price wants to pull back to create a higher low, right? So let's mark off everything that we just spoke about. So this was the consolidation area right here that we just marked out. I'm gonna turn this black. Uh, So that was consolidation, and this was the bottom end of the consolidation, right? So we have two consolidation zones right here. I mean, we have two random lines that made up the consolidation, right? Then we seen the breakout, then we see a higher low point. So we're gonna mark this off, high low point, and then we've seen a higher high point. So we're gonna mark this off, higher higher high point, and then we're gonna mark off this previous higher high point, right? Before price broke out and made it a new higher high point, right? And we have the high low. So we're gonna mark this higher low also. Random line, boom. Right? So we got the higher low, got the higher high, we got the previous higher high, right? So now we can get rid of this tool. Now we're gonna go down to the H1 time frame, right? To get a little bit more details, a little bit more data, right? So price can pull back all the way until it does not break this line. So we're gonna modify it to this H1 time frame, right? So we're gonna modify the higher low point, and then we're gonna modify this higher high. I mean, yeah, can modify the higher high. Well, we could keep it back here where it was, right? So we can modify this. So we see at this area, we've seen sellers push the market down, right? So sellers will sit in here, push the market down. Buyers will sit in here, push the market up, right? So we've seen buyers step in, push the market up, break in where sellers wanted to sell, and the buyers were more stronger at this point in time, right? So we're going to modify this also. And we're seeing here that sellers wanted to sell from 23,143, let's just say 145, right? So we could see sellers stepped in here and pushed the market down, right? So now we want to anticipate and wait for buyers to step in, right? So we don't know how far price will pull back. All we can do is use past data to anticipate to see what price, well, see what the buyers want to make the support equal the floor to push the price up, right? So we could drag this along. We could drag this further here. where this was a previous resistance that could potentially turn support, right? So price wants to pull back somewhat here. Let's say price pulls back. Let's say price pullbacks further than here. As long as it does not break this low point, and we are still good for the buys, right? So price could pull back here and then want to catapult or slingshot back up, right? Above this line right here is buyers. So we know buyers is going to push that market higher to create that higher high on the H4 time frame, right? So we'll be waiting for price to step in or price to pull back to this zone, or let's say even, yeah, so we'll wait for price to pull back to this zone and then break it, and then we'll look for buys, right? Let's say price does not pull back this steep. Let's say price pulls back somewhere along here. We see a demand zone here, right? Let's say price wants to pull back somewhat to this demand zone and then push back up, right? We know buyers are sitting here because previously sellers were sitting here, right? But being that the buyers broke it, we know buyers are stronger at this point in time, right? So we'll wait for price to pull back. Let's say price wants to pull back to this demand zone. And once price is back above here where the buyers were, then we know we're looking for buyers also. So we know sellers are sitting here. So we can look for buys from here, and we could potentially target where the sellers are sitting, right? Where if the buyers are so strong, we could potentially squeeze some extra pips points out of the market and, you know, make more money. But we can anticipate our first take profit will be at this price, 23,144, aka 145. Same thing, right? Just use whole numbers. So that's the outlook, and that was a little bit of the strategy um that I came up with, but you know, somewhat of part of my strategy, I guess, my trading strategy. So that's what we be that's what we'll be looking for. That's what we will be looking for at coming up this week, right? Look, that's what we're looking for. Let's go to gold, right? Okay, let's go to a clean gold chart, right? Uh, okay. And let's go to clean gold chart. Okay, so the same thing with gold. So the weekly time frame. This is just consolidation, to be honest. This is madness. Not gonna lie to y'all. This is high point. This is a low point. And we can make this the weekly colors. So we know prices are sitting here. Sellers here, buyers here, and they are confused at the moment, right? So this is kind of hard because I don't like trading consolidations due to the fact of it being so hard. Pause. And because you never know who's in charge, so you don't even know what to look for in this case, right? So we'll go down to the daily time frame and let's identify the daily consolidation, right? So dark, definitely did not put that like that. Okay, so let's save this. And let's overwrite that. That's okay. So that's good. Oh no, wait. Let's take that off. Text. So let's save that. Stephanie. We have that here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. So now we have the daily consolidation zone. We know sellers are sitting here, but we see buyers is pushing the market up because we still creating high lows, right? So we see we created high low points. And this is just consolidation, but it could somewhat be a high low point. but it's just consolidation. But we see price trended down, create a high low point, and push price up. So sellers are sitting and holding strong here. We can wait and see what they want to do, what they're gonna do, and that's pretty much it, right? So I did take some trades last week, and so I see price here making high low lower high points. Where's the draw tool? Okay, so price is making lower high points, right? So we see price was making lower high points. I was on the H1 time frame, and I seen price break this higher this lower high point and created a higher high, and I thought price was going to push up and create a higher low point. Well, it's going to pull back, higher low point, and then higher high, but it did not do that, right? So if I zoomed out to the H4 time frame, this was just a part of the push, right? So this was a part of the push, lower low, lower high, lower low, and this was just a correction to create a lower high point, and then price created a new low, right? So this is the new low point that price has created, and then we can mark off this lower high point that was just tested, right? This did not break, excuse me, this did not break structure to the upside. This is one resistance level. And so we have sellers sitting here, we have buyers sitting here. So we go down to the H1 time frame, and the price is currently just sitting there, right? So we can mark off the previous lower high point, lower low point, right? So this was where buyers bought the market up, but sellers pushed price down, and we can drag this across and wait to see what price wants to do, right? So we want to see if sellers push this market down below, as long as it does not break this low point. As long as price does not break this low point, we're still good for buys, right? So being that, so below the zone, we can either sell to here, right? We can sell to this low. And if price does not break this minor support level here, right, then we really want to sell from here, right? So if price does not break this lower high point, this higher low point right here to continue down to this low, then we know we can look for buys above this level, right? So we just want to wait to see what price do this upcoming week. So if price does pull back, so let's go through some scenarios. If price does pull back, but if we go in a smaller time frame and we do not continue to see lower lows and lower highs, then price may not break this area, right? And we would not be looking for shorts. If price starts to switch and then breaks back above this zone, then we know we're looking for longs, and we can target, actually, we can target this high, right? So we're going to drag this over some more. We're going to drag this over some more, right? So we have buyers sitting here and we have sellers sitting here. So we'll just wait this upcoming week to see what price wants to do. And that's how we'll just be able to anticipate and see what the market wants to do. And I'll say that's about it for the breakdown. And yeah, so catch you guys next week with another breakdown.